Ever since sports like football and basketball have been a popular pastime, cheerleaders have been found on the sidelines promoting team spirit and rallying the team and spectators to a victory. But should cheerleading be recognized as an NCAA sanctioned sport? While there has been much debate and controversy over whether cheerleading indeed is a sport, competitive cheerleading will perhaps become the next up-and-coming NCAA sport.
Now it's time to make some noise!
Cheerleading's tradition began with only men cheering on the sideline for other sports teams like football. Women brought gymnastics and dance to the cheer routines, and soon cheerleading evolved to a different type of cheerleading called competitive cheerleading. However, there continues to be controversy around whether or not cheerleading should be classified as a sport. The most important definitions of a sport come from the official organizations such as the NCAA, the Office of Civil Rights, and Title IX compliance. In order to be an NCAA sanctioned sport, the sport must be characterized by having physical athleticism, multi-level participation, rules and regulations, and a defined competition season. Competitive cheerleaders meet the NCAA requirements similarly to gymnastics, a sanctioned NCAA sport. They exhibit athleticism by jumping and performing complex tumbling, as well as lifting and throwing athletes high off the ground, all within a 2 to 3 minute routine. Mr. Casey Jones, the owner of a competitive cheerleading gym called the Stingray All-Stars, was interviewed to get his perspective on whether or not competitive cheerleading should be a sport.
Competitive cheerleading as we know it is really a combination of gymnastics, acrobatics, dance, just so many different skills that are all athletic in and of themselves. So, a competitive cheerleader has to be a well-rounded athlete. You know, they've got to be someone that's that's really strong, and they've got to be durable. I think it's no different than someone playing travel baseball in a highly competitive league, travel lacrosse, playing football for their school, you know. Well, like I said, I think there are a lot of misconceptions, and I think the word cheerleading leads to those misconceptions. There are so many people that have the thought of cheerleader, and that's the person on the sideline who is cheering for a team. They're there to represent a university or to cheer on a team, and to me, that is not a sport. In my perfect world, competitive cheerleading will kind of get rid of the name cheerleader because it's really not what we do. That's why I would like to see competitive cheerleading change to something else, because we're not there to support another group. We are there to compete. So I think a lot of it is that, and I just think a lot, people don't realize that there's a difference, and also some people really don't know anything about all-star cheerleading or competitive cheerleading. They only know what they see on the sidelines. If I'm not involved in it, or if I don't have a child involved in it, then in my mind, a cheerleader is someone standing on the sidelines with some pom-poms yelling for the football team. There's been a lot of talk on what should be done, and to be honest with you, I don't know exactly what is right or wrong. I think that schools that have competitive cheer and sideline cheer, that puts them in a tricky situation of, who's going to earn scholarships for doing what? They're both there in a sense to better the school, and I think there's a place for all kinds of cheerleaders, whether I want to be on the sideline or whether I want to be involved in competitive cheerleading.
Although there will always remain skeptics who will never regard cheerleading as an official NCAA sport, competition cheerleading is already a sport, competing at school levels as well as in club and international levels. USA Cheer organization has recently made a proposal for competitive cheerleading, now called Stunt, to be a new NCAA sport.
National Champions.
One more time.
Let's go, Rays. And now we have
Can't you count? This makes 6.